I'm just glad, the I want to spend $200 or so on a Game Boy market, which is, thriving. It's huge. A lot of people out there, and their choices were limited. One, you had to go more like 219 to get an analog pocket, and even then they're sold out or hard to get, blah blah blah. But the analog pocket was the only around $200 option out there. But things have changed, Mike. So you shared the thing on the chromatic from ModRetro. What because I know you're a $200 Game Boy guy. Has this is this gonna be where you draw your allegiance?
It's funny. I have really wanted a Game Boy the past few months. Even before, we've become obviously sought after Game Boy development team. The first Bog Panda game, Slapdash is out. There is rumors, unsubstantiated. I'm just kidding. They're substantiated. There is rumors that a new update to Slapdash is going to be coming out sooner than you may think. And who knows what's going to be in the future? I hear that, Kelly is in charge of a development team right now working on some stuff. So more Game Boy content is coming. So it just so happens to coincide with me going, I really want a Game Boy. And I really tried to make the RG35XX 2437 divided by
Like,
two my my way to go. And twice now I've been burned by that. But the Analog Pocket, as cool as it looks, and it does look cool, just seems over the price point that I'm willing to meet them at. So when I saw this, I was like, oh, something comparable. And it says it's at a lower price point. And I guess technically,
yeah.
yeah. I mean, it's not lower price point to where I want to be though. So I remember, and I'd sent pictures to you. I don't know if you remember this. This was 5 years ago, a little more than 5 years ago, around the time I was buying my house. We were looking for a light fixture for the dining room. So we went to a store that specializes in light fixtures, and they had a crystal chandelier that I sent you a picture of, and it was $13,000. And the guy was like, I was looking at it, and the guy was like, "Oh, if you want, I could probably knock a good $40 off of that, and we could work out something for the delivery price." And I was like, "That is not the distance that we're off here. That 40 bucks and free delivery kind of thing." So I think while this looks very cool, and there's some cool stuff with their own cartridges and stuff with it, this is a chandelier thing where that's not the difference in price that's keeping me out of the analog pocket territory. How about you?
Um, did not. I've never really been in the $200 Game Boy market. Also, for whatever reason, when I get an RG35XX, it works. And so I got mine, and I've got one set up for a friend, and really had no issues with it. Well, your luck has been a little different on that. So, and same, which is a kind of a repeat of Super Console X, too, because that kind of happened, I think, on the first go there. So do you, when you get these, do you like wash them first? Do you, because don't do that. Don't don't do that, because that could be a
Hit him
problem.
with the hose for a little
Yeah,
bit.
it's just I want to get all the dirt off. I'll make sure it's good to go. Throw it in the dryer, And so these are not things to do with your system. So impressive looking. I think that they have spared no expense, which you will not be either if you purchase it because it's at 199. But like a magnesium alloy case, some pretty cool colors. The
Yeah, the
screens.
colors, and this might sound weird for some people, but I really like the color options. That's another thing that gives this a little bit of a leg up. Not the analog pocket ones look cool, but they have a very clean, simple looking design, very modernist design. This gives you some more weird colors, and I kind of like that.
Yeah, and they were in really kind of a pretty bright palette that they went with there. So I think it looks really good there. As you mentioned, that they are making games uh, that this will play, which I'm assuming the analog won't. Their games, but
Yeah, and
it'll
that's
play.
to me probably the biggest selling feature of this. Like the different colors are cool. I mean, it's $20 or $30 cheaper than the Analog Pocket. But really, the big selling point of this to me is they do have their own cartridges for this as well. So presumably, we're going to get some content that you could only get here, or at least only get on cartridge form here. So that might be a more of a deciding factor further down the line for me.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It would have to be a heck, and it's going to be hard to build outside of Slapdash. I'm not sure there are those
Right.
true killer Game Boy games. But there may be another one coming, featuring Dr. Fib, just so you know. But the Fibiverse will run alongside the Slapiverse, so we'll see how that goes. But so even with the fine work that's occurring in the Bog Panda factories, um, I don't. I it would have to be a really compelling thing, and I'm really hard pressed. As much as I kind of like playing Game Boy games and Game Boy Color games, there's probably not a game that's going to drag my thought process across to a $200 game system for that.
Yeah,
So,
it's a really steep price tag for me still. The thing that would get me would be if their library of games on their proprietary cartridges is, really tantalizing at that point. That's really what it would take to pull me anywhere near this kind of price point for it.
although the one thing we don't know is, and as Mike has kind of mentioned on past shows, Slapdash is available. Go back, check that video. We got the ROM available for you to totally legally download and put on your emulation environment and enjoy the game. But we really wanted it on a cartridge. But because it was such fine work by the developer and under Mike's sage leadership, um, it no worky on cartridges. And it's
That's
not because it's
a
too
very
big.
scientific way of putting it.
Yeah. It is not that it's too big, which is the problem with a lot of Game Boy games that are being homebrewed these days, but it was kind of more the fact that the coder actually took kind of full advantage of what you can do when you write a Game Boy game instead of using something like Game Boy Studio, and the cartridge couldn't handle it. But I kind of wonder um, if there's an avenue here, but you might have to be on a chromatic cartridge. I don't know.
It would still be cool just to get the OG Slapdash onto something. I can say OG even though it's, a month old at this point, because again, might be some new stuff coming already. I might be, I mean, there is.
There, yes. Um, so we'd be interested in the Panda Army weighing in. Are you in the market for a Game Boy in the um, higher price range? And what are your thoughts on the fact that now there'll be kind of another uh, cartridge platform, sort of, kind of, that and it looks promising in terms of some things are going to be developing and getting available. And so if that thrives, it could be interesting. So um, I'll look, but I just for right now, probably my dollars are going to go elsewhere.
Yeah, I'm not sold on this yet, but I am very intrigued by it.
It is, yeah, and it looks great. So let us know what your thoughts are on that. And thanks for watching.
Thanks, everybody.
Bog Panda.